Welcome to
Dang, he's good, folks.
I can't have a good day where everything's ready to go and have a smooth transition. I can't. Got here on time, got things ready. I was chilling, man. I was like, just wait for him. Scrolling through Reddit. Just whatever. No problem. We're good, right?
Yeah.
Just before I turn on the mic, I said it in my head, I'm like, I feel like I'm forgetting something. I seriously did. In my head, I'm like, I feel like I'm forgetting something, but yeah, we good.
Yeah.
Boop. Anyway, welcome everybody to the show, In-Game Chat. That's what we are. June 27th, 2020. It is season 14, episode 19. I'm Scott.
And I'm RJ.
Welcome everybody to the show. There we go.
Clap.
Doing a show. We're gonna do a show. If you want to get in touch with us, you can call us. After I take us up. Phone number is 334-272-9228. 334-272-9228. Check out ingamechat.net for all the links to get in touch with us. You can find us on Twitter at InGameChat. You can find us on Facebook at InGameChat. You can email us, everyone, at InGameChat. We are on Twitch. The name is the same, InGameChat. You can watch us live while we broadcast. I don't know why you'd want to watch us. If you can listen to us, I don't know why you'd want to look at me.
Face of radio.
Yeah, well, that's why I've been in radio for 20 years. So, anyway, welcome everyone. Yeah, go to twitch.tv, type in Game Chat, you'll find us. Show notes, we will not be doing a show next Saturday. Saturday is the 4th. Happens to be a little holiday around these parts. I'm speaking to those of you who are listening across the way. But, yeah, so Saturday falls on the 4th, the dead on it. So, yeah, no show next weekend. Just letting you know. As for this show, I don't know. You can talk more about Last of Us. Because I did play some more, but I still have not beaten it. Mm-hmm. I am further ahead than what I was last week. But I have not beaten it. I have not finished. For those who want to know, I'm in, like, the second part of day 2. If that makes any sense. Like, it's a little rainy. Not yet dark, but seems to be on the verge of, getting dark. So, yeah. That's where I'm at in the game, and I haven't really gone further. I hope that I can get some playtime in tonight with it, and get some more playtime in tomorrow. Will I have it finished? I figure that I probably will have it finished by the next time we do a show, but I don't want to. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure if I will or not. I really don't. It's weird because I was playing before this. I was playing Tomb Raider, one of the Tomb Raider games. Mm-hmm. Every time I kept coming to what I thought was like, okay, here we go, we're about to hit our stride, hit our our last little our home stretch, as it were. Nope, just kept getting longer and longer.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah, there was a lot of situations like that. But wait, there's more. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if this is pulling that with it as well. It'll keep me more engaged than Tomb Raider did, I can tell you that. But yeah, drunk degenerates sounds like me. In the chat room says he beat it last Monday. It took a little longer than the release weekend. He also played in 2-ish hour bursts with breaks in between. He didn't binge it like he usually do. I'm kind of in your, well, I tell you what, I'm sort of in your situation. In that I play it not necessarily up until a significant moment happens, but I do play it up until I realize there is a transition. Mm-hmm. So I played what was essentially the prologue of the game and realized, okay, here's a transition. It put everything in place for what I was doing. Transition into day 1. I was like, okay. I played a little bit of day one just because it was so pretty. And I was like, ooh, what is this going to lead me into? And I realized it led me into this open world area. I was like, you just go and explore. I was like, okay, we'll cut it here.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then played again until I got to the beginning of day 2. And then there's clear transitions to where you can feel like, okay, this is a beat.
Mm-hmm.
This is you're done with that section, you're moving on to the next section type of thing.
A good stopping point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically is where that comes from. We already got a call. So, yeah, that's where I got to. And so, that's how I play the game as far as that's concerned.
Yeah. Like you said, with the 2-hour burst and everything, because we talked about it last week, about 20 to 30 hour mark.
Sometimes,
it's... So, yeah, I can see about 7 to 10 days.
I don't play in 20 hour. I don't play 20 hour. I don't play in 2-hour bursts though, only for the fact that it takes me a long time to play this game. The stealth, I'm sitting there watching patterns, trying to find patterns, trying to find the best way to do this. We'll talk about it. Let me go to the phones here.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, you're on in-game chat. Who's this?
It's me, Chris.
Hey, Chris, what's up?
Not much. Haven't been playing much of The Last of Us. I'm still probably hadn't got to the point where you were last week, but I just got the gas cannon. I'm working on the other building today. That's where I'm at right now. But do you happen to know what's going on with all the traffic around here? Is everybody traveling earlier for the 4th weekend that's coming up? Or
I mean, I have no idea, dude. I've been here since 2 o'clock or so, or
around Clanton and up and down the interstate. I mean, there's just like 3 or 4 times normal traffic. I mean, there's lots of people out everywhere. It's like, it's
no idea.
odd.
I come the opposite way of that, obviously, and I don't even take the interstate. I take I take 31 into 85, and then that's how I get on. So I didn't see any of that stuff. Driving in. Curious. So and obviously we just got on the air. We haven't heard anything. So
yeah, I was just wondering if you'd happen to hear something or some kind of event going on. But
don't know of anything.
Kind of odd. It's like way more traffic than normal, but oh well. Still been enjoying the game, huh?
Enjoying it. I'm going to get to my thoughts on it a little bit later.
All right.
But yeah. So what about you? Anything else going on with you?
Not much. I've been playing this and that and everything else and having fun, but we've been working on a new deck at the house. The old one we've had for 30 years or more finally right away, and we got a good bit of progress done. So I've been having some fun working on that. But now we decided to go ahead and take a break. It's a good point in getting hot and sweaty and everything, so we decided to come in and cool off and chill for a while.
All right. Well, thanks for listening. Thanks for calling in, as always, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All right. Y'all have a good afternoon.
You too, buddy. Take care.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye. I feel good. I'm glad he called, and I'm glad I got to him when he called, so because I made him wait so long last week. I hated that. So yeah, I'm glad I was able to do that. Anyway, that and Destiny is really that's what I've been playing as far as Destiny is concerned. I finally leveled up, or whatever, the whole, what am I trying to say?
You maxed it out?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
My character is not at total level cap, but as far as soft level cap, which is 1050.
Yeah.
My character is 1049, 1048, something like that. Very close. But obviously, because of the artifact, my level has exceeded that. But base power, that sort of thing, I am almost at the soft level cap, which is fine. That's kind of where I wanted to be, because anytime that you... anytime a new expansion comes out, I mean, your level just drops right back down to basically base level, or at least whatever the power cap, whatever the pinnacle power cap was that you were at. Pinnacle is 1060, soft is 1050. I am at 1048. Given time playing this thing, I'll get up there. So it's fine. But there's this thing that you've been playing that. There's only 2 specific bounties from it that give material for you to upgrade it. And those bounties are just 2 bounties, and they're weekly bounties.
Oh.
So it's not like you can go in every day. It's you go in every week. Now, for me, having 3 different characters, I can get that 3 different times. And so it's been, me just kind of trudging through that. And basically, every week was a drive to, like, let's do these 2 bounties on all 3 characters so that I can level up this thing and get it where it needs to be, which is where it's at.
Yeah.
And I feel good about that. I'm chasing I'm chasing the Triumph, the Seal, and it's got all these different things that you have to do. And so right now I'm at a point where it's just going to take me progressing my levels through the season pass to get up to be able to do anything else. And that won't take place. I mean, that'll be a while, and it's not something that I'm like, really grinding out sort of thing. I'll do what I have to do, week to week to, move my level advantage up a bit, but it's not something I'm going to sit there and, with bounties, it's like, here, go do this thing this many times. Okay. But with leveling up, it's not as clear cut as that. Leveling up takes bounties and doing activities and things like that, so it's not necessarily a situation where I can go and pick an event and say, well, I'm just going to do this, and once I do this, that'll get me a level or something like this. That doesn't work that way. Yeah. It requires picking a bunch of bounties and playing through and then turning them in and maybe getting a level, maybe getting 2. It's a very slow-moving thing, so there'll be other times where I'll play, and then there'll be things that come up where I'll put in more time than usual. I'll get there. I'll get there, no problem. But it's just not. It doesn't feel like what it felt like before, which was me trying to get these, trying to upgrade this item thing that I was doing. Yeah. Now that I've upgraded it completely, I feel better. I feel great now that I don't have to log on and like go immediately pick those 2 bounties again, run through all this stuff. This was the last. This was the final week of. There's a certain mission that they give you each reset. So every Tuesday, it's basically the same mission, but you fight a different. I don't know. Trying to see how I could.
The boss or a horde?
No, the boss is the same.
Okay.
But the layout of how you get to the boss is different. So. And the enemies that you fight up to get to that point are different as well. So basically, there's a beginning section. I don't know if you played any of the new stuff. You may not have,
Probably
so I have no idea.
Yeah.
There's a beginning section where you have to fight basically a big, what's it called? A big...
ogre?
No. It's the ones that they open up if you get close, and then they...
Shrieker?
Is that what those are? Those are shriekers? Yeah, I think they are shriekers. Yeah, they're hive enemies, and they have this seal around them, and then they open up, and it's like this eye that shoots
big purple thing.
Yeah.
This big purple thing that just screams out, "Shoot me!"
Yeah, exactly. It's the same. Yeah, that's the one. So, like, you start this mission with Eris talking in your ear, giving you story stuff, whatever. So you start the mission the exact same way. You put some damage on him, and then it takes you to. Like the Transcendent Realm or something, like the Taken Realm. The Taken Realm is what's different every single playthrough. Or I say different every single playthrough. What's different week to week.
Okay.
So to get to that point, the same. And then once you get to the Taken Realm, it's a different thing you have to do. A different path, a different enemy, that sort of stuff. And then at the end of it, you defeat him. You defeat the big eye over again. So week 1... It was like, okay, you did this. Week 2, okay, you did this. And this was week 3, okay, you did this. It's just the 3 weeks. They'll rotate weekly. So I don't have to do that mission anymore, although it drops pinnacle gear, so maybe I will. But yeah, so that mission's done. I don't have to do that anymore for any kind of triumphs or anything like that. The leveling of the caster, I don't know what it's called, something that the Drifter is working on. I've leveled that thing completely up, so I don't have to worry about running bounties for that thing anymore. So yeah, I feel pretty good that I got that out of the way now, and I don't have to worry about that. It doesn't mean that I won't play Destiny anymore, or for a while. It just means that I won't have that push of, I got to do this, and I got to do it on all 3 of my characters, Yeah. Like it was before. So it's... not bad to have to deal with that. So yeah. What about you? What have you played?
I've been playing a lot more of Phantasy Star Online 2, and as I heard you talk about the grinding in Destiny 2, it really stuck out to me how the grinding feels in Phantasy Star Online 2 as opposed to Destiny 2. I mean, I guess it's a mental thing because I'm at level 48 right now, about to be on the brink of 49. The cap is 75, but I didn't feel any of the grinding until I got around to the mid 40s anyway.
Yeah.
I guess it just feels more achievable. Because at this point, I'm resigning myself to the fact that I don't think I'm ever going to make the level cap on Destiny. I'm just not going to make it. I just don't have the drive to put the time in for that game because I just can't get the drive to do it, really.
I mean, if they ever do crossplay, I hope you'll be there.
I mean, maybe that'll do it, but I just can't see myself getting to the cap at 1050. I'm at like 970 something. I can't remember what level I'm at now. But it's been years since I played the game from the Destiny 1 to 2 and everything, and I'm getting to this point. I'm like, do I really want to go through this over and over and over?
I
again?
understand. I completely understand.
But the same thing. But like I'm saying though, the grind in Destiny, it's about the same as the grind in Phantasy Star Online 2. I mean, there's a lot of missions, repetitive missions. Do this and keep doing this until you get to where you want to be. But it doesn't feel as grindy because I think it's because it feels more achievable to get to the cap in PSO2 than it does in Destiny for me. The progress isn't as hampered. Like I said,
I don't doubt that it isn't. Mm-hmm. Given what I did, which while it was available, I did the power level farm, mm-hmm. which is now not available to do, but I took advantage of it for like 2 days before it got shut down, mm-hmm. and was able to move up. That's how I got so far ahead. Not that I really cared that I wasn't chasing levels mm-hmm. per se. I was chasing those other things, and I'm chasing the things on the seal mm-hmm. to get those things done. Yeah. But leveling up sure makes things easier mm-hmm. When you're doing that sort of thing. So I don't hide the fact that I power leveled, and I don't feel bad for the fact that I power leveled. Mm-hmm. I've never played. What is it? Phantasy
Star Online 2. Yeah.
Never played
PSO2. Yeah. Back from the Dreamcast days when I first started playing. Really, I mean, I had the typical JRPG from the Genesis and Master System days. Mm-hmm. Then you got to the action RPG style. And then we had that long gap from Phantasy Star Blue Burst and Universe. And then we had PSO2 come out in Japan, and we had all these hot fixes and things to try to play it, but it didn't go too well, for me anyway. But some people were able to play the Japanese servers and get a lot of experience in. It's been like 6-7 years.
Yeah.
They had it, and we just got it almost 3 weeks ago. So, yeah, we're just now getting into it. But I'm having a good time with it. And the I don't know about power leveling, but it's basically doing really hard missions, and you can have your own AI party with you, so that helps out. And the way it works, I mean, getting into it, you have a key that lets you get into it, and as you go through the stages, you pick up keys for other hard missions. So there's no real stagnation. Really, you have to go through various places all over the region mm-hmm. to open these quests up. So there's no boredom really, to me anyway, in getting through these missions. And like I said, when I'm doing this, the levels pick up pretty quickly, even at the higher levels of 45 to 75, which is what I'm trying to do. I mean, I've seen some folks have all their classes, if I'm not mistaken, 10 to 12 classes, and they're all leveled up to 75. They've spent that much time playing it. So like I said, it feels like an achievable goal.
Yeah. Especially
with the way the levels pop up. And there's so many items and things you can use to jack up your level as you're playing. Like some folks, we're watching videos where people would get double-digit thousands XP on certain enemies, provided that you had like 3 items and something called a PSE burst. If you take out a lot of enemies in a short amount of time, you get this burst of energy, and a lot of enemies come out, and you get like a whole bunch of opportunities to get your EXP coming up. And when that happens, you get a whole bunch of it's a lot of XP that you can get from doing that. So even with the AI party that I had, I was able to get a couple of PSC bursts in. I got a whole bunch of enemies coming in. I got a whole bunch of XP off of that. Fortunately, I'm not at the level where I can handle that really well. I mean, good thing I'm a ranger because I keep my distance anyway. But if I get hit like twice by any enemy, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I'm going to be done. So,
well, I mean, if it's working for you,
but yeah, it's working as long as I keep, like I said,
Exactly.
as long as I keep my distance.
That's my whole point, man.
And I'm doing a solo all this time. Getting with the team would probably do better that way. But other than that, I had a session with some friends of mine with Soul Calibur 6. Had a nice little room. Had a nice little playthrough with a buddy of mine, Trey. We got together with a friend of his from Huntsville, I believe, and we had a nice little session of matches for about an hour or two. Then, of course, a little bit of Grand Theft Auto Online. I think there's a double rewards on nightclub sales this week. So if you get a full nightclub, you can probably get about a good $2.5 to $3 million of in-game currency if you sell a full nightclub.
One day I'll get there. One day I'll get online with that GTA just to see what's going on. I always wanted to, but I never did.
Heck, I mean, you see all the pictures of you see all the memes out there with Rockstar
I know.
milking that cow, man. That is just, they've been milking that for 7-8 years now.
I think so. And the amount of what was the meme, and the amount of time that GTA 5 has been released, we got GTA's 1, 2, 3, Vice City, San Andreas, and 4. In the amount of time that we've had GTA 5. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, if it's
still making money, they're going to keep doing it.
Well,
so
they brought in that online component, and it makes it kind of hard to leave that.
Yeah. Because it's still drawing money.
Right.
It's still drawing cash, man.
It puts them in a position of, look, if we make a brand new GTA 5, what's going to happen or a brand new GTA 5? If we make a GTA 6 or a GTA subtitle Some City, how do we continue to support this online aspect of GTA 5? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where you go with that. Other than somehow to integrate it. Man, I don't know.
I don't see that. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how that happens. I really don't. All right, we're going to take a break here. Coming up, we're going to talk, when we get back, I'll talk Last of Us, my time playing that, again, where I'm at. Again, won't talk about spoilers at all. So we got that coming up. Really is a lot of news before I'll get into that. This week was a massive week of, I'm trying to think of the word to say this. I want to say exposed, because that sounds like, well, no. Exposed is the better word for that. The exposure of a lot of harassment, sexual harassment, and horrible workplace culture type stuff. And this is just video. I have like 11 different stories of things like that, and they're all different, and they're all talking about different places. And it wasn't only in this. I saw it explode in the comics industry. Saw it explode in the wrestling industry. I just all over the place. So we'll talk a little bit about that. There is some stuff in there that, all of it's been surprising to see. I'd hate to say something like, "Well, that's not surprising." Well, if it's not surprising, then why was it still going on? Yeah, there were some interesting things that took place, but anyway, we'll cover them in some way. Anyway, Last of Us is coming up, and talk about what's left, I guess, of E3. I pulled up the schedule, and really, looking at it, there's nothing really until the 12th of July. And that's a Ubisoft conference. So, anyway, all of that is coming up. So, our theme for the music this week. I tried to look up what new games there were. Not many. Or, yeah, really not a lot of new games. So, I don't know how it came about. But something, hit in my head and said, well, let's look up the worst games of all time. And let's use music from the worst games of all time. Yeah, right? I found a site that had here's the 30 worst games of all time. Of course, I don't know what the the classification was. How did they rule that this is the worst game of all time?
Bad taste, bad sales.
Well, I've heard. Trust me, there's the games.
Because I can think already what the number one would have been on that list.
Well, I don't necessarily know they listed them in order of importance.
Oh, okay.
I think it was just here's 30 of them.
Okay.
Because they all seem to come in alphabetical order.
Oh,
After I downloaded them, I realized these are all in alphabetical order. So, we're going to start with Daikatana. Yeah, not really well received. It's a track called Modern Muck, which... Yeah, I don't remember the release of that game. I know from listening to James and Jeremy and Matt about the anticipation for the release of it, the advertising, the marketing campaign for it, John Romero and everything else.
All I remember was a lot of anger.
Apparently,
all I remember about it.
And then it just fell flat on its face. So here is that. We will be back with more in-game chat right after this. Welcome back to In-Game Chat for your final Saturday for the month of June. Almost said July. June. June. This music comes from a PS3 game called Haze. Thing got raked over the coals, man.
Recall that one.
It was called Haze, Haze. Now, prior to this game coming out, I want to say I made I met the PR guy behind it at PAX or something like that. He was great. I want to say I had him on the show. I can't remember. But this guy was nothing but nonstop excitement.
He was selling product.
He was, but he was really excited for the game.
He was selling
He
product.
loved talking to me about it. I mean, the game wasn't out yet, but yes, I mean, that's fine. It's just that he was passionate about what he was doing. He really was. He was passionate about his job. You have to be. I mean, he worked for the development team, but he was sort of like their...
I'm sorry, I'm just getting skeptical when there's passion. I understand that. But when the level of passion is way too high, that's when I start getting a little skeptical.
He was very passionate. By the time I had a meeting with him, and by the time I got to my meeting with him, I think it was on a Sunday, his voice was shot. But he still talked to me. He still did it, and I said, dude, I'm so sorry, because his voice was just horrible. And I had brought him some, lozenges for him. And I mean, he and I talked back and forth and whatever. And at that point in time, people they were skeptical about the game being anything of what it was supposed to be or anything like that. And then when it released, it got horrible reviews. And I played it. I think I owned it. I think they sent me a copy, and I played it. And I can't remember. I can't remember much about it other than the everybody was right. It was bad. It had moments that were bad. It had it was a bad game. This is going back to PS3 days, by the way. So
released in 2008, May 20th. I'm looking at Metacritic, says 55%.
If it was released in 2008, I either met him at when in 2008?
May 20th, 2008.
Of 2008?
Yeah. Initial release date, May 20th, 2008.
That means I must have seen him in 2007, which is either PAX or E3. And I can't remember which. Is that because the mic is in the way? Thar says that I look like I have a gladiator mask on my face. So I'll move it out of the way for you. So yeah, that must have been 2007, which I don't know if that was if it was at PAX, it was my first PAX. If it was at E3, it would have been my first E3. So maybe I was the one who was overly excited then. Maybe it wasn't him. Maybe it was me, just going to my first E3 and meeting people that were working on these video games that I enjoyed so much. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about The Last of Us Part 2. And by a little bit, I really hope it's only going to be a little bit, unlike last week when it turned out to be like a full hour and 30 minutes of the show of just talking about Last of Us. I will say that we talked about the ratings and the review bombs and everything else that was going on. This article from Kotaku talks about The Last of Us Part 2's Metacritic page shows how broken numerical scores are. Now, this was posted on the 20th. So what, like last week, last Saturday, last Sunday, something like that?
Yeah, about a week ago.
Yeah. It says, despite their mixed critical reception, review score aggregator Metacritic shows it with a critical score of 95 out of 100. With a plethora of 10 out of 10 10s, developer Naughty Dog has been happy to tout. User scores, meanwhile, sit at an abysmal 3.5 out of 10, based on over 31,000 reviews and counting, over 20,000 of which are all negative. All of these numbers are meaningless. They've been pouring in as almost as soon as the game launched. Much of this was likely review bombing. Forbes noted that the game had over 5,000 user reviews only a half day into release, suggesting unless people are doing blitzing speed runs and then immediately going to Metacritic to post angry 0 out of 10 reviews, something fishy is clearly going on.
Now, hold up. Now, you said that they said these numbers are pointless, right?
All of these numbers are meaningless,
Which
yes.
ones, the user reviews or the critics' reviews?
They don't specify.
I'm of the mindset that all of them.
I was going to say, I would say all of them.
Yeah. Because like I said last week, a 10 out of 10 I wouldn't give much credence to. And also a 0 out of 10 I would give less credence to as well.
I would say that I will say that the critic scores on Metacritic, the ones that are from outlets that do reviews of games and things like that, not user reviews, but the critical reviews. Those hold weight to Naughty Dog and to Sony. Those hold weight to them. There is and I'm almost positive that this is probably part of what Naughty Dog has, but there's like a clause in their contract, in the developer's contract, where if a game does such and such good review-wise, there is a bonus. Monetarily, there is a bonus that the company gets because of that sort of thing. And so I can't see them not enjoying that as well. So for them, it matters. For anybody else, none of the numbering should matter. Maybe it does. Maybe there's a certain reviewer that you follow that you feel like you're more in tune with than somebody else, and maybe you want to watch that. That's fine. The number can matter to you however it wants. But I often say that you just need to play it if you want to, if you have any interest, you need to try and play it.
Yeah, the thing about critics to me is that it's like movie critics. I think I've said it years ago about I can't see how one critic can accurately portray the tastes of every moviegoer out there is. So video games is the same way. One person's opinion shouldn't sway you that heavily. If it's your jam, have at it.
I mean, it shouldn't. But if you're somebody who really relies on, maybe you have a favorite reviewer. You have a favorite reviewer or a favorite streamer who wants to talk about the game, and it's somebody that you feel connected to, that it's panned out for you, then that's fine. You know, if that's the opinion you want to go on, then that's fine. But I would say, you know, play the game to see for yourself if you're able to. But yeah, so anyway, the user reviews were just, you know, abysmal. The last little thing in this article says, if you want to know how The Last of Us Part 2 is, skip the math. Read a review from some sites that you trust. Ask a friend what they think of it so far, or watch a bit of the game on YouTube before you buy it.
I like that part. Watch it on YouTube.
Oh, I can't stand watching video games on YouTube.
Really? Really?
I remember. Depends on the game. I'm
about to say you can watch Street Fighter finals on Evo. You got excited on that?
That's different.
Yeah, I can watch depending on the game. Yeah,
I can watch the competition.
Yeah,
I can do that.
Yeah.
I'm strictly talking about a single player game like this. Now, I've watched some of these long play videos where they're taking the cutscenes and a little bit of gameplay and they're kind of putting them all together so you can watch them in one.
They call them the movie or whatever.
Kind of a movie version of it, that sort of thing. That I have no problem watching.
Okay.
Because the combat is kind of like real quick and brushed over. It shows you a little bit, but it kind of moves it along.
Yeah.
But I remember...
Yeah, it takes out the stuff that keeps you from looking at the story. Yeah.
Watching somebody stream a game, that's the problem. Because I remember it was around the time that Batman Arkham City came out.
Okay.
Some people had early copies, and I remember going to, I guess it was Twitch, I think, and watching, like, ooh, it comes out this week, and this guy's already got it, and he's streaming some gameplay. I want to see what it looks like. And trying to watch this dude play, I was like, oh, God, he's really bad. That was the problem. I couldn't stand watching him fumble with the controls, moving the camera around and do what. It was just like, wait, stop. No, stop that.
You couldn't stand inefficiency.
Yeah, I was like, ugh. And I remember showing it to James, and I can't remember what he said, but it was something to the extent of, like, this is one of his worst pet peeves, is watching somebody else play a game that doesn't know how to play the game.
Watching someone play poorly. Yeah.
You just, if they don't know how to play the game, and then, like,
it's like if I was watching Dead Space and someone couldn't understand that you're supposed to cut the limbs off, not go for headshots all the time.
Right. It was a sense of, if anybody is going to show off first gameplay, it's always going to be somebody that doesn't know how to play the game. That's usually how it works. When a game leaks or somebody gets to play it first, then you're watching somebody just can't do it, and so it's hard for me to do it. Hard for me to watch other people play games like that. The sales of the game smashed the record for Sony's fastest-selling PS4 exclusive, knocking Naughty Dog's previous record holder by the wayside, which was Uncharted 4, which was the fastest-selling PS4 exclusive of this console generation. It knocked that off the pedestal. And then it beat Spider-Man to become the fastest-selling PS4 exclusive of all time. The game managed to sell over 4 million copies in just 3 days. It likely includes both physical and digital, but Sony wasn't being specific. The previous record holder, Spider-Man, was able to sell 3.3 million copies over the same period, which was up from God of War's 3.1 million. So it beat 3.3 million by another 700,000 copies or so. So yeah, it's done very well. So I have continued to play it. I tweaked some of the settings.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what difficulty I'm playing on. I feel like I'm playing on normal, but now that I've tweaked it, I would say that I probably knocked it down some. Not that I found it difficult, but my problem was how much scavenging I was doing, which is, again, I looked at I think the clock I have now is, I think, 11 hours of playtime with the game. And I would say,
I'm about to say, what percentage of that has been spent scavenging?
It feels like 6 or 7 of that has been scavenging, watching patterns, you know what I'm saying? Like watching rooms and stuff and making sure I'm doing the right thing, or that sort of stuff. So, I mean, I'm serious.
The majority of your playtime has been spent scavenging
because I do it all the time. So, I went into the settings inside the game. Now there are settings you can mess with on the main menu screen,
right? But
in the game there are settings that you can tweak, and so I tweaked that listening thing that you can do. You know, I don't know if you remember that, but you can hold down a button and
you get you get those the chalk images.
Like you can hear where they are on the map and that sort of thing. So I tweaked that to where while I'm listening, I can press like an echo type thing, a little button that'll send out an echo. Visually, that's what it does. Game logic, it does nothing. It's not like anybody can hear it, but it sends out a little thing and it'll alert me to where enemies are.
Echolocation.
Yeah. So there's one button that'll alert where enemies are. There's another button that'll alert where items of interest are. So I turn that on.
Yeah.
And now, I hit the button and then whatever, and it fans out, and it'll put a little ding on your screen of like, hey, there's something of interest over there.
So instead of looking at every little nook and cranny, you know exactly where to go, which will streamline your scavenging part. Yeah.
It's not. I'm glad that it's there. I really am.
Yeah.
I don't feel bad using it. If I ever wanted to do a hardcore playthrough, I can take the HUD away. I can remove a bunch of stuff if I really want to go hardcore on this thing. Which, spoiler alert, I never want to do. I mean, this is one of those games where I am seriously playing for the story.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You want to when you're playing a game strictly for the story, you don't want anything in there hampering you from experiencing it. And I can see where you were talking about 7 out of the 11 hours you put in has been spent scavenging and waiting for patterns.
I would say so, just because of. I mean, it's not been cutscenes; it's been looking for everything that is of use.
Yeah.
And for the longest time, there was hardly any reason for me to scavenge as much because I had collected. I was full on what I needed. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Like I all little items of interest were all maxed out. I couldn't get any more. My crafting, I'd already crafted everything that I needed, maxed at that. Once I realized that, hey, you should use some of the stuff that you have because, as you can see, there's an abundance of material for you to replenish. So I started using some of the, I started being a little bit more, I guess, less stealthy in my fighting, throwing Molotovs, setting up the traps.
Bricks.
Doing that. I finally got my bow and arrow, which was nice. And I finally ran into dogs. Oh, jeez.
What?
Well, now the guys, when they're searching for you, they bring dogs, and dogs can track your scent, which makes it even difficult. It makes it more difficult to escape. But at the same time, the easy way out is to kill the dog.
Yeah.
I hate that. I don't care if it's in a game or a movie or whatever. I can't stand it. I hate it. I hate it. I did it, but I hate it.
Okay.
I hate it. So here's aren't the dogs fun? No, they're not. So there's a couple of ways that I did this. When you're first introduced to a dog, there's very little time for you to, like, I died on my first introduction to a dog. I completely screwed everything up.
Got your throat?
No. I just I didn't play it smart like I should have, and I restarted that area. And I have complaints about the manual save in this game, by the way, and I'll get to that later.
Okay.
But when you're introduced to dogs, you're kind of forced introduced to it. Like you're in a sort of a cut scene that is whatever, and you hear the people pull up and they pull the dogs out, and the game moves you into a room where you shut the door, and then it leaves you there, and it's like, okay, here's your introduction to dogs. Press this button to see your scent, and so you can see the trail that you've left, and that's what the dogs are going to pick up on.
So basically everywhere you walked?
Yeah.
That's where, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that trail leads right to that door that I just went into. And so I realized, okay, so I know they're going to come in here because they already did this before and I screwed everything up. So that's when I set down a little trap that will trigger once that door's open. And I moved, and of course, boom, thing went explodey, which alerted everybody else in the area, more dogs. And so in this area, I wasn't quite prepared. I don't even know if I had a bow at the time. I don't think I had a bow.
Do you have a knife?
No, you always have a knife. You always have a knife. But I don't think I had a bow at the time. So I couldn't... the bow is a very stealth-like weapon you can take out.
Well, I'm thinking this whole situation is keeping distance.
It is. But it's because the dogs will bark. They'll alert people. You know, that's the whole point is... My whole point used to be, let's clear everything out. When there's a dog there and you don't feel like killing dogs, that option is kind of gone. If you don't want to kill the dogs, then you just need to find the way out without taking down everybody, you know? Because that's the way I was playing up until then. It was like, I need to eliminate everybody in the room. But now that I don't want to take out dogs, it's harder to do. That first area, I did my best to try and stay away from the dogs, but they came at me, and I got I got the silencer for the pistol. But they came at me, and I panicked and spammed the melee button, and I had this thing, like a crowbar with scissors on the end of it, and was doing, oh, God, it was horrible. It was horrible. Well, your items, with the exception of your knife, your items will break down. You only get, like, so many uses before they break down.
How quick are we talking about degrading here?
I think eventually you can upgrade. I think eventually you find something you can. There's skill trees that are involved, and certain skill trees enhance the distance of your listening ability, enhance the speed of your crafting.
Yeah.
And there's eventually an upgrade that
weapon durability
gives you better weapon durability.
Yeah, but some games can't handle weapon durability very well. I mean, they're really bad. Like I think the worst example I can think of is Dead Island.
I had never played it.
The Dead Island, I had I had a weapon with a 2x4 and a couple of 2s attached, and it took like about 8 swings before that thing was half strength. And that's just not going to cut it.
You get like 4 or 5. You get 4 or 5 regular swings. If you do an execution swing, you know, if you do one where, like, if you just tap the button and you do a swing, that's one thing. But if you do one where you hold and do a charging attack type of thing, that'll take up 2. But it's usually a kill shot whenever you do that.
Yeah,
and that puts them down. So
you said this was a crowbar.
It was a crowbar with like scissors on the end of it. Yeah,
metal crowbar.
Yeah, don't question game logic.
Right?
Come on now.
Yeah, I am.
Don't try that.
Yeah, my gun fires every time. No problem, right? Does that break down too?
Your gun doesn't. No, you do. Well, your silencer does.
Huh.
Your silencer is made out of like a
make it like a shampoo bottle or something.
Like a plastic
bottle.
Soda bottle.
Yeah, shampoo bottle.
And you get 3 shots with that before it breaks down. But again, there's so much material around that I should use these things more often, and I wasn't doing that. However, there was one where I had lost my melee weapon and all I had was a knife, and the dog attacked me, and the kill that you do with just your little handy little switchblade knife, is vicious. It is vicious. I never ever wanted to be in a situation where I had to do that ever again. Because because it just. I'm sorry.
You played Mortal Kombat. Come on.
I mean, I played Mortal Kombat. Yeah. Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Who?
Fatalities, blood, gore, all that stuff.
Oh, I get that.
Yeah.
On an animal, though,
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Okay.
I don't like it. I don't like it. I really don't. I'm the type of guy that will go to, what's that website? DoesTheDogDie.com.
Never heard of it.
Well, it's a website, DoesTheDogDie.com. Anytime that comes up, like if I see a dog when I'm watching a movie, I go straight, I was like, oh, God, please tell me that this dog, because I need to know ahead of time if that's going to happen. I do not want to, no. So.
Okay.
It's bad. I don't like it. I don't like it.
I'll put this on your mind. It's either you or the dog.
But it doesn't have to be.
But you're gonna get a situation where it is that way.
I can avoid that,
Maybe.
In the game I can, yeah.
You can, yeah. But when you mess up.
Yeah.
When you mess up.
What was the other one that did so there was another section where I had actually got the bow and arrow, which is a nice little silent weapon type thing. And and it put me in a situation where the dog was not on my scent. The trail that the path that the guy was taking the dog was not in my path yet. So basically it puts you there and you're like, okay, now I can assess this. I'm not forced into a quick situation where I've got to do whatever. I can think this through.
Okay.
So I have a bow and arrow. I can shoot the dog, but the dude will notice. What happens if I shoot the dude? Well, I shot the dude with the bow and arrow, stealthy. And the dog whimpered because his owner was now dead and was and it was just really sad. And then the dog barks because the owner's dead. And I was like, okay, yeah, I gotta, shunk.
It's better to shoot the owner. The dog barks. Everyone goes to the dog. Get away from the dog.
I know. So yeah.
I get it. You're gonna have to be. Look, if the first game taught you anything, you're gonna have to. You got to be ruthless.
I know.
This game to
I
get
know.
through it. So yeah.
No, I get it. I understand. I just don't like that aspect of it. So anyway, that's where I'm at. The stealth is getting. Stealth is really good. I really like it. And I think that's more to the fact that I haven't had really any fun stealth games in a while. I've had games that integrate stealth into their thing, but not very well. And we haven't had Splinter Cell in years.
Yeah.
Which I would consider them like, hey, you're kings of stealth right there, which I'm sure there's better. But that's kind of where I put my bar on stealth is in the Splinter Cell games, and we haven't had one of those in forever.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I'm enjoying it. Last of Us. And I've still got a ways to go. I'm sure I've got a ways to go. I got more dogs that are going to be involved in what I got to do. I understand it. I'll get through it.
Yeah, more of them going to die.
Yeah, I know. I'll get through it. But anytime the dogs are introduced, I'm like, oh, man. So, anyway, we're way behind here, and we got to go. So, hopefully I'll have more of this played by the next time that we do a show, which is not this coming weekend, but next weekend, just to let you know. By the way, real quick rundown of who's in the chat room. AC Wraith, another viewer, or another TV viewer. Arioka, A10, Bama Bryan, 17, Casket Sharp, which is a great name, Commander Root, Drunk Degenerates, Griffordia? That seems new. Well, hi. Lethal Migraine, Mikuru. Thank you.
There you go.
Stephen Van Dam, Thar66, and Thicker. I like that name too. Thicker. I just like it because it makes my mouth be weird. Thicker. Anyway, we'll be back with Morning Game Chat in just a moment. This next game comes from a CDI game. You remember CDI? Philips CDI?
Big frisbee-sized laser disc.
Kinda, yeah. I mean, the machine was huge that played it. This is called Rise of the Robots.
Ooh.
The soundtrack for this one actually used Brian May of Queen. He wrote He wrote music for Rise of the Robots for Philips CDI. This is called The Dark. We'll be back with more in Game Chat right after this. Welcome back to In-Game Chat. This is this block right here, from this to the one that we'll go into break with, are the highlights of the bad music, or the bad gaming music theme.
No, I've always given it to folks who can take such limited resources and make something with actual melody to it. So
yeah, this is Bad Street Brawler from the NES days. Oh, man. A lot of comments on that CDI thing. Oh, Lord, not that game. I had it on PC. I rented it on SNES. Never again would I play it. Thaler66 said he almost bought a CDI system back then. What was the price on the CDIs back then?
Let's see.
Said, glad I went with the TurboGrafx 16 instead. I'm curious what the price on those were.
Oh.
Up there, right?
Originally priced about $799. Within a year's time, the price dropped to $599.
That's still high.
Yeah, the CDI Player 300 series.
Because that's what year?
I didn't see what year it was.
90? 91?
Let's see.
No, it's late. Well,
90.
90, yeah.
Discontinued in 98. Yeah.
Man. Wait till you hear the music that we're going to play when we go to break. I want to say it also comes from the CDI age, but you guys can tell me that. It could be 3DO that it comes from. I don't know. In fact, let me look it up, because it's just going to bug me if I don't. That was on... Yep, CDI. It's a game for the CDI that came out in 94. And I'll leave it at that for you. So yeah, last weekend there was a lot of speculation over this whole, there had been some websites that had been, domain names that had been secured. And they were all Batman related. SuicideSquadGame.com, SuicideSquadKillTheJusticeLeague.com, and GothamKnightsGame.com. And the update was, I guess, that Rocksteady, the Batman guys, are actually working on a Suicide Squad game. Both projects are set to be teased at Warner Brothers' upcoming DC fandom event in August. Expect to see a little of Gotham Knights, whatever that ends up being, which, while unannounced, has been continually hyped via various Court of Owl hints for more than a year. But then it said, expect to see very little of Rocksteady's Suicide Squad, which is further off from launch. That's a long span of development from Rocksteady working on the Suicide Squad game. That I was a bit disappointed to hear that. To think that I mean, I'm glad we're getting whatever we're getting from WB Montreal, which is that Gotham Knights thing, the Court of Owls.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we're going to be getting that. But when it said, Rocksteady's got a long way to go for this thing, and you're only going to see a little bit of it, probably a tease of some sort, I thought, my God. I thought they were a whole lot closer to having something ready to go than this. So, yeah. Kind of, I don't know. Be glad to get another Batman game again. I've kind of missed them. I've especially missed anything from WB Montreal when they do the Batman games, because I enjoyed that very, very much. By the way, the E3 schedule, I think I talked about this, was that the next thing is that was today. Bit Summit Gaiden, I guess. That's today and tomorrow. There's no times on those. Warframe TennoCon is July the 11th. It's on a Saturday. I do not know what time. Ubisoft's conference is on a Sunday on the 12th of July. It starts at noon Pacific. And then Microsoft is having their event in July. Do not know the date on that or the times. So, and then in August, Warner Brothers is having their event. I don't know if it'll be streamed. I don't know what'll be the case for that. So we shall see. See if they've got anything else. Bethesda, we don't know anything about Bethesda. Devolver Digital will be in July. We don't know anything about that. Warner Brothers is to be announced. Not sure on that. And then Nintendo, we don't have anything for that either. So there's a lot that's just kind of up in the air. I hate this. I hate this trying to track down. I loved it so much better when it was sending out invitations to people and we had this schedule.
Yeah.
And the schedule seemed to encompass this 1 week rather than like spreading it out over all this time, That's the only... I like this new way of doing it. I just don't like that it's...
sporadic and spread out.
Sporadic. Yeah. It's not well known of when it's going to happen or what it's going to happen. So, yeah. What was this week? This week was... I swear I thought there was two things this past week. I know there was Cyberpunk. That's right. It was the Avengers thing that was going on. Yeah, the Square Enix, Crystal Dynamics, they did an Avengers 30-minute thing and showed off some of the game. Let me tell you, there's a game that there's a game that at one time I would have been excited to hear about, but looking at it now, I have absolutely no interest in it.
Yeah.
It's just does not look.
You see what Lethal Migraine's thoughts on that Avengers game.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see. I'm. Me and Lethal Migraine are on the same page for that, obviously. Yeah. Will there be any good comic book games? Not likely. I'm holding out hope for the Batman game, but I don't think we'll see a Batman game until next year, most likely. Maybe it'll get released in November with the new consoles or something, but I don't see anything that'll be anytime soon until next year for these Batman games. So I don't know. I think the Avengers game is that in November? I don't know. I haven't paid attention to the release date because I don't. What I've seen of the game looks like crap. Lethal Migrant says Avengers looks like it should be a mobile game. That thing looked terrible. I agree. It did look bad. Drunk Degenerates, I'm looking forward to Ghosts of Tsushima. I am looking forward to that, although, again, it kind of felt repetitive. It kind of felt... I don't know. I need to play more of it. It just looked like, here's what I'm going to be doing, going from town to town, finding these... I don't know.
It says September 4th of 2020.
Okay.
For that Marvel Avengers game.
The Avengers game, yeah. It does not hold my attention. Cyberpunk and Avengers looks terrible. Cyberpunk looks incredible. Cyberpunk, I was confused on. I saw the time at like 6 and thought it said Central or something like that, and I thought, okay, I can't remember what the the time specification was, but I put it in North American sense instead of Cyberpunk, or instead of Project Red, which is, I think, a Czechoslovakian developer or something like that. I can't remember where they're out of. But realized I was completely wrong when all these things started coming in at like 10 in the morning. I was like, oh man, because I didn't bring my iPad to work to watch anything.
Polish,
that's what they are. I'm sorry, I don't know why I said Czechoslovakian, but Polish is what they are. So I got to see the trailer for it, and I enjoyed it. But for whatever reason, this trailer didn't do for me like what the other trailers had done. I enjoyed the other trailer. I think the other trailers were long-form gameplay trailers. This was this was a sell you on the product trailer.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so I wasn't really, didn't really sit well with me the way they were selling it that way. But I've already seen gameplay of it. I've already seen longer instances of the game. I mean, I'm sold. I'm there.
Yeah.
This didn't really put me off. I just was like, I don't like your little whatever this trailer is. Looking for the story that I had on there. Yeah, this comes from PCGamer.com. After 4 thrilling hours in Cyberpunk 2077's massive open world, I am hungry for more. There are 3 distinct life paths which determine your starting area and your relationship with the world. I can play as a street kid, a corporate agent, or a wandering nomad. I chose the latter and find myself in a dingy garage in one of those remote Badland towns. Oh, God, I'm watching gameplay again. Oh, he's driving the car. Oh, God, it looks beautiful. Oh, my God. This is something I'm only seeing for the first time. Because, again, I watched the trailer and I read headlines about gameplay. I didn't realize there was actual new gameplay footage to watch. This is somebody driving. Yeah, that car's got wheels. I was like, is that a hover car? No. Oh, man, the city just looks amazing. God, I can't wait to play this thing. And it starts in the remote Badlands Tower, staring into a filthy mirror. I tear a patch from my leather jacket, the emblem of the Nomad gang I used to run with. It's a lifestyle change I'll learn more about later in the game. I'm a lone wolf now. Well, I would be if my car would start. Now there's more, and it's daylight, and it's like in the desert-like area. Looks very Mad Maxian here. God, this looks really good. As he's getting into his car, he's tuning up his car, he's adding things to... Oh, man. This looks really good. I'm looking forward to this. Really, there hasn't been anything that has turned me off of the game. God, this is a long article. One I should have read. I'm sort of staying kind of blind about it. It's a big enough, it's a big enough game that I don't think I'm going to run into any kind of super spoiler type stuff,
Right.
But once a game has its hooks in me, once a game has sold me on its concept, and it's like, man, I want that game, I kind of stop looking up information about it.
Yeah.
I used to not do that. I remember with Burnout, whenever I heard of Burnout 3 and everything else, I used to grab as much information as I could, try and soak in as much video as I could find, anything new, just so I could see the game, because I was just so in for it. And but now, I remember Last of Us. I remember, I watched their E3 presentations anytime Last of Us was up, but I remember just before the game released, Sony did a state of play type thing, and it was 30 minutes, 45 minutes of nothing but Last of Us, talking about the game, all this other stuff. I didn't watch a single bit of it. I didn't watch any of it. Part of that was because I think I forgot, but the reason I forgot was because I was just like, I'm already getting the game. I don't need to watch.
Yeah, I've been there. I've been there with new releases of something I clearly intended to pick up, and all of a sudden, that releases this week. I forgot. Let me go pick that up.
Yeah,
I've been there before.
Somebody's calling. I put them on hold real quick. I want to read this from Lethal Migraine. There seems to be so much to do within Cyberpunk. You could play that thing for 1,000 hours easy. 3 different choices for your starting character. You get to choose their backstory and basically every single characteristic about them. For those gamers who love to customize their characters, it looks as if you could spend 5 hours doing it pretty easily. Character customization has never, for anything, reached the level that City of Heroes ever did for me. There has never been a game that has matched that for me. I have often, and that's my measuring stick. City of Heroes.
Yeah.
I know it goes back a ways, but that is my measuring stick for
it goes back ways, but you still remember it, how good it was
for character customization.
So how good it is. Yeah.
Lethal Migraine. Street Kid seems like a pretty neutral character, so I'll probably run 2 games at the same time. One is the corporate guy, and one is the character from the Badlands. Let's go to the phones. I do not know who this is, but we will talk to them. Hey, you're on In-Game Chat. Who's this?
It's me again.
Oh, hey, Chris.
You and RJ have been talking about, when he's been talking about the new Fantasy Star Online 2 he's been playing. Have you have any thoughts about wanting to maybe get into it later on, or even think about even jumping into it?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
No.
No?
No.
But I plan to, especially, I'm figuring next year whenever, if they especially make it cross-platform, I'll definitely join and play with you, RJ, because I know I have a PC that I could probably play it on, but I don't plan on wanting to get an Xbox, but they'd eventually bring it out on Switch or PlayStation 4, and they make it completely cross-platform like the Japanese version where everybody can play together. I'll play right there together with you if you're still playing it when that comes around.
Sounds like a plan, man.
But of course it's pouring out here at the house, so and thundering, so I have everything unplugged and just sitting back on the couch listening to y'all on the cell phone.
We appreciate you listening, though, man.
But yeah, y'all are talking about the City Eye and everything. But I was years ago, and I was wanting to kind of think about wanting to get one of those at the time, and I just never did. And then I guess have y'all heard about the Zelda games that they made on that system?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Like you kind of maybe want to collect them, but like they're so awful, like you don't, and they're probably so expensive because everybody hates them.
Yeah, so bad it's collectible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I guess that they're even worse than the Super Mario Brothers movie. Same in the same generic form of that. Like why?
Well, because the name of it. That's all. They put a name on it, didn't put whatever they want out there, and it turned out pathetic.
Yeah.
Well, good hearing from you again, Chris. Thanks.
Yeah, but I can't remember how much that thing. What do y'all say that?
$700, $800?
$800.
It was $799.
Yeah, $800, and then it dropped to $600 after not long. Didn't take long to drop to $600, but it started out as $800, dropped to $600, then it got discontinued. 98, 8 years after it released. Yeah.
That still wasn't as bad as the Pioneer Laser Active. That was even more expensive than the CDI. Yeah, because that was, basically, the main unit, not a good Laserdisc player for movies. That was around 1,000, maybe 1,100 with tax. Then each of the packs just to play the games with it were like $600 a piece, so it was way more expensive. But whenever you got those packs for it, like Sega Genesis, you could play the cartridge games, the Sega CD and LD-ROM versions, that they made for Sega for both that and the TurboGrafx 16 one. So you could play just about everything known to man. But since they've come down over the years, they're a little bit cheaper than that now. But kind of something unique, but I don't think I'd ever want to get a CDI. If I came across something real cheap, maybe, but oh well. We'll see y'all later then.
All right, dude.
Okay. Thanks, Don.
Bye-bye. I got a, and I'm still getting texts. Whoa, got that for free. Nice. Guy building his own computer and was hitting me up with some... got a lot of secondhand parts.
Okay.
And so didn't have the correct cables for the graphics card to the power supply, and I had some, and I said, well, here, I'll let you borrow some of mine. Those didn't work. Just got an update that they got the correct power supply for free And I'm actually now figuring out why. How did you get a power supply for free? Yeah, just
He's got connections. That's how.
yeah. Apparently, let me see if I can look. Let me see if I can zoom in on this. It's a 650 or yeah, it's an EVGA 650. Which is all they need for what they're doing. This is not some mammoth machine that is being built.
Yeah.
But anytime that we talk about building PCs, okay, now I know they got it for free. Anytime that we talk about building PCs, I want to address people's, or not address people. I want to send people to a website. Anytime you're going to be building your own PC, whether it's secondhand or from scratch or whatever you might want to look into, the website to go to is pcpartpicker.com. pcpartpicker.com. It's a lot of P's. It's fantastic. You make an account there, and then you can build your own computers through the different parts that they have. You'll select, you can start out saying that, this is the kind of computer I want. So you'll be looking at this kind of CPUs, this kind of power supply. Once you start putting things into your build, so when you pick a processor, it's like, okay, well, you picked this processor, so these are the motherboards that you can put with that processor.
Yeah, it won't be. You won't have conflicting parts
right.
when you build.
Or if you pick a motherboard, it's like, well, here's the processors you can use for this. And when you do, and then go to pick a power supply, it's like, okay, this power supply will work with the parts that you've selected.
Right.
Or if you put something that's overpowered, it'll say, well, you need to upgrade your power supply.
Yeah.
So
you're going to need, it has all types of things to let you know, let you not make a bad build.
Right. And so even if you're getting it secondhand, what you can still do is line up these parts to know what you want and then go secondhand shopping for those if you need it. Or, the best thing about PCPartPicker.com is that it also will let you know when these items go on sale from different places, be it Amazon or Best Buy or Newegg or any of those different outlets.
Yeah.
So
make a list, get your parts together, then save it, and you'll get notices from there that says, "Hey, this part you saved has gone on sale. I want to pick it up now." Yeah,
exactly. He just said, "Now you tell me about that site." Well, look, at the time you called me asking about it, you had already basically put your computer together. Well, you hadn't put it together. You'd gotten all your parts in order. You'd already done what you were, So, and I didn't. And to be honest with you, I didn't think about it at the time. Yeah. I only thought about it when he told me because he told me his issue with the cords from the graphics card to the power. I said, check your power supply. You should have all the power supply should come with all the cables. And I got it secondhand. I was like, oh
yeah.
That's when I realized, I probably should.
Well, keep them around for the upgrade that you'll be doing eventually.
More than likely. I mean, if the bug bites you on this, you'll be doing an upgrade because it'll be nice for what you're doing, but you'll get the urge to maybe I want to do this and kind of build it up. You won't have to change much once you've done the initial build.
Yeah.
And so you'll want to beef it up or something like that. But anyway, I'm glad they got all the parts and everything together. So looking forward to hearing how that goes. Oh, yeah, there's a Steam sale going on right now, by the way, as well.
Yeah. That's not... I don't need to build up my backlog any more than I've already got.
Yeah, Steam being a...
Mine's nowhere large as yours. You're in the triple digits now, aren't you?
Oh, I'm easily in triple digits, yeah. I'm easily in triple digits on Steam games.
I think I got 30 games. No. Sorry. 20 to 30 games I got total.
Steam's just a storefront where you can buy games online. And I went through my wish list and I saw a lot of $3, $5 games that I might decide to go ahead and pick up. What I have noticed is that none of these prices get lower. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sale to sale to sale, which I've had in my wish list forever. I've had games in there. And I've seen the prices come down as they go, but there is a certain level at which that's done.
Yeah.
They will not go lower than this. That's it.
I think you've said in the past how Steam sales just aren't what they used to be, but they get to a point where you just it's not going to get any lower than this.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. And there's plenty out there for you. So we're going to take another break, and when we come back, I'll hit up on I don't know, everything else that's kind of left here, and then some of those harassment things. There's one that's not even about harassment, but it is about the fact that the website urged their reporters there to fabricate things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hostile work environment place type stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just, so there's that too. So we'll go into some of that. But anyway, I said that when we came back from the break, because you heard that Bad Street Brawler or whatever that music was, that you're going to hear another one, and it comes from a CDI game. It was released in 94, and it's called Hotel Mario. It is Mario. It is a Nintendo property. But Nintendo had, Philips had, Link for Zelda, for Legend of Zelda. So they had Nintendo properties that they were working with, Hotel Mario being one of them. Here's this just instant classic of piece of music from the main menu and the overworld map of Hotel Mario. We'll be back right after this. And welcome back to In-Game Chats. Music here from a game called Bomberman Act Zero. It was a 360 game, I believe. Some kind of weird, serious Bomberman game.
Serious Bomberman.
It was horrible. It was horrible.
Just try to be serious.
I don't want to say it was. I don't want to say it was because it tried to be serious, but it didn't work.
Oh, okay.
Because I remember them releasing a Bomberman for the 360 arcade, which was more traditional Bomberman-like.
Right.
Thing was massively successful. This, not so much. Wasn't the best. Arioka, man. He is on this kick. Hotel Mario is a good game. It's ridiculous to be in the worst games ever list. Whoever wrote that article is ignorant. Haze is also nowhere near one of the worst games ever. Again, Bomberman Zero was the worst in the series and not a good game, but not one of the worst games ever. Listen, there were 30 to pick from, okay? I'm going to go find the article. So that I can link it here. Was this it? Yeah, this was it. Here we go.
From which site?
Guardian.
Okay. Part 1 or part 2?
I mean, I clicked through the whole thing until I had the games that I needed. Like in fact, here's the ones that they list: 50 Cent Bulletproof, Aliens Colonial Marines, Bad Street Brawler, Big Rigs Over the Road Racing, BMX Triple X, Bomberman Act Zero, Bubsy 3D, Custer's Revenge, Daikatana, Duke Nukem Forever, E.T., The Guy Game, Hatred, Haze, Hotel Mario. Part 2 we're going to now. Knack, Leisure Suit Larry.
Leisure, come on, man.
Yeah, I know. Leisure Suit Larry, box office bust. Limbo of the Lost, Perfect Dark Zero. Interesting. Plumbers Don't Wear Ties, Resident Evil 6, Resistance 2, Rise of the Robots, or Rubots, Ride to Hell Retribution, another one that we'll come to because it's our going out music, Sonic the Hedgehog, Squidge, S-Q-I-G, I don't know what that is, Star Trek from 2013, Superman 64, Universal Studios Theme Park Adventure, and there you go.
Mm-hmm. I think we've talked about it before, the difficulty of making a good Superman game.
Yeah.
All the stuff that would be involved in that.
Honestly, at this point, they got a difficulty in making a good Superman movie, but yeah. Real quick hits here. Facebook has bought the creators of The Order 1886, which is Ready at Dawn. I have the vinyl. I have the vinyl album of that game, but I also have it autographed, I believe, by the composer. Not only that, but Facebook also bought Mixer.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty surprising this came out. Microsoft
came out of nowhere, actually.
It did. Microsoft announced today that the company will be shutting down its streaming site Mixer on July 22nd and will partner with Facebook Gaming moving forward. The shutdown starts today with a transition plan laid out by Microsoft for Mixer streamers. Partners will be granted partner status with Facebook Gaming, and the platform will honor and match all existing partner agreements as closely as possible. Big name streamers, Ninja, Shroud, they moved from Twitch exclusively to Mixer this year. King Gothalion, who announced he would be moving to Facebook earlier this year, he signed a deal to stream exclusively on Mixer. It also appears some Mixer streamers, employees, and partners weren't given a heads up about the shutdown. About an hour after the news broke, Ninja tweeted his first public comment about the shutdown. He explained he now has some decisions to make and didn't give any more details about his streaming plans moving forward. Update number 2, when asked if the company had warned or talked to any streamers before announcing the shutdown, Microsoft responded that it does not discuss the specifics of personnel and partner decisions. Many of the Mixer front page streamers are worrying about their futures and trying to figure out their next steps in real time. Some I've seen are asking their chat for advice on which service to move to next. Many seem angry about the lack of warning. Many of these big streamers will be free to return to Twitch. Mixer's blog, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, sorry, there's nothing in your contract that said anything about, like, we reserve the right to tell you when things are going to happen. I mean, seriously. I know a lot of them were worried about, oh gosh, what's going to happen? What am I going to do now? That sort of thing. You can be mad that they sold. Mm-hmm. And you can be upset that and really it's kind of one of those bad moves on their part to kind of not give a heads up to people for this thing. Yeah. But they are in no way obligated to give you a heads up on that. No. It's crappy to do, but this happens a lot more than you think with other positions. Also, Microsoft closed all their retail. They closed 82 Microsoft Store locations. Microsoft is giving up its retail footprint as the company today announced it would be closing its Microsoft Store brick-and-mortar locations. I've never been in one except for the one that's in Microsoft headquarters, and I know that one's not getting shut down. Yeah. 82 locations between the U.S., UK, Canada, Australia, and Puerto Rico. So, yeah, retail team members will instead work remotely to provide sales, training, and support for customers. When asked about the layoffs, a Microsoft representative told GameIndustry.biz all employees will have the opportunity to stay with Microsoft. That's good to know. There are documents that have leaked that seem to be teasing a cheaper Xbox Series X. And I really whistled hard when I said X. Xbox Series X development docs distributed courtesy of a leaker on Twitter tease a long-rumored second Xbox Series X. The second console, codenamed Lockhart, has been rumored for some time. This is just more fuel for the Lockhart is real fire. If it is indeed in development, it will mean a cheaper alternative to the Xbox Series X, expected to launch at the end of the year. Lockhart hasn't even been announced or confirmed. Instead, it's just been the subject of rumors. The leak appears to be documentation for the June 2020 game development kit for the next-gen Xbox console. It seems to suggest that Xbox Series X game developers have access to development profiles. Blah, blah. Verge claims that when the Lockhart launches, it will be called the Xbox Series S. All right, we're still in that mode. That's in line with the current Xbox lineup. Okay. The Series S will feature an underclocked CPU, which will draw less power and require less expensive thermal solutions, 7.5 gigs of usable RAM, and be capable of a mere 4 teraflops. A third of the teraflops, it won't be churning out 60 frames per second at 4K. It's expected to cap resolution at either 1080p or 1440. That's less than what the current Xbox One X is capable of. Interesting. So that would be interesting if we get 2 SKUs. I mean, we got 2 SKUs for the PlayStation 5, discless and disc. Mm-hmm. Maybe we're going to get 2 SKUs for the Xbox Series X, cheaper version and a big Mr. Powerful version type thing. Mm-hmm. I've been missing out some stuff here. Back to the chat here. Drunk Degenerates, probably more a case of worse games that got media coverage of some sort. Plumbers Don't Wear Ties is hilarious. Arioka says, I doubt whoever wrote that actually played these games. Perfect Dark Zero and Resistance 2. Plumbers Don't Wear Ties is a 3DO classic.
An adult-oriented romantic comedy, graphic adventure game, dating sim.
Facebook also absorbed Mixer streaming. I wonder what will happen with Xbox, considering that Mixer was somewhat integrated into it from what I heard. Yeah, dude, it all sounds weird. Like, it feels like they're selling this off because they're going to do something else when the Series X launches, I guess. I don't know. But Microsoft, a lot of companies will try to mimic the success of other things that are out there. Mm-hmm. For the longest time, Microsoft, when they had the Xbox One, when it launched, they had a share button, and you could integrate Twitch into it. Mm-hmm. And then at some point, they decided to make their own streaming platform, which was Mixer.
Yeah.
They wanted to compete with Twitch. Mm-hmm. They wanted to do their own, which is so much so that they paid ungodly amounts of money. Well, dropping the bucket for Microsoft, I assume, to get Ninja over there for doing that sort of thing. But they've always wanted to kind of do their own thing, you know. Nintendo's got motion controls. Let's make the Kinect. And then it fails. Mm-hmm. Twitch is a big thing. Well, let's make our own streaming service, Mixer. I don't know that it failed. It didn't seem like it was. I mean, obviously, it didn't have the hold on that like Twitch does. Twitch is just gigantic.
Yeah.
But it also didn't seem like it was not doing well. I don't know. I really don't know.
It does come out of nowhere. I mean, Twitch is not. It's not just gaming. Obviously, a whole bunch of stuff in there for Twitch, but. Yeah, the fact, I mean, it just came out of nowhere. I thought Microsoft would have the resources to keep this thing going, but then all of a sudden they just decided to just give up quickly.
Yeah.
I keep hearing, I'm trying to think of the number that I keep hearing associated with Ninja. 30 million?
Something like that, yeah.
$30 million to get them there, and then you don't do anything with it? I mean,
and more than likely, this puts them in a position to get out of their contract free. You know what I'm saying? Like they can say, well, we can take your offer to go over to Facebook and do that, or you can go free and you will not be in breach of any kind of contract because we sold. Yeah. I'm sure there was stuff in there that they could do that with. Yeah, there's a new one called Trovo, makers from that Chinese company Tencent, I believe is what their name. I went to Trovo the other day. That looks exactly like Twitch, but with a name called Trovo. I'm serious. If you go there, the layout is exactly like Twitch. I think it's called Trovo. If you go there, it looks exactly like Twitch. Are you going there now?
It's Twitch, but green.
I mean, it's seriously the whole layout, the whole user experience looks exactly like Twitch.
Twitch's dark theme is dark, but with purple highlights everywhere.
By the way, yeah, I've got the dark theme. I don't know what it looks like. Yeah.
Trovo is dark theme with green highlights. I mean, there's really no difference.
But it is the same, isn't it? Yeah.
Put them side by side, folks, and you'll see the only difference is purple and green and a logo switch.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know what they're going to do. And then Twitch went on a banning spree.
Mm-hmm.
They started banning streamers accused of sexual abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday night, Twitch banned 5 streamers. In a statement posted to its official blog, Twitch said that it is reviewing each case that has come to light as quickly as possible while ensuring appropriate due diligence. It characterized the bans as permanent suspensions, meaning the streamers in question won't be coming back. That's fine. Look, Twitch has banned people before and have brought them back, and I don't understand. It's not that I don't understand why now. It's just that it's not why now. It's more of why not then. You know, like they've had bans on some people that. Well, yeah, exactly is what it is.
Money. If you have the number of followers and you bring in money to Twitch, you're not going to get as much enforcement as someone smaller.
I know. Yeah,
that's pretty much all it is.
You're exactly right. That's almost the answer for every question I was going to have about this. It's like, oh, it's money related. That's why. Yeah. Ubisoft
pull in the cash. They'll bend over backwards for you.
Yeah,
that's
Ubisoft and Insomniac were facing allegations over mistreatment. Some of these people had receipts, man. Some of these people had text messages and all
evidence.
Yeah. Like some
go.
hard, strong evidence of like, look how horrible this person is. Assassin's Creed Valhalla creative director went on a leave of absence because his skeletons got out of his closet. That's possibly ruining that man's life. And I mean, that's what you're going to run into when you do these things, is the possibility of ruining your life. There doesn't seem his is a little different. There doesn't seem to be any kind of abuse. It was just infidelity.
Mm-hmm.
But it was multiple people, and once the first one opened the door and said her piece,
mm-hmm.
others came forward and said, oh, he did the same thing with me, and it was just
mm-hmm.
the floodgates opened, and he had to handle that. And it opened completely in public for him. Ubisoft has suspended 2 executives accused of sexual and physical abuse. Man, it was a ton for this week. And there probably is going to be more. Which is fine. Get them out. I mean, I hate the fact that it even happened. But if this is the point where we say no more of this and get these people out, then so be it. Make it done. It should have been the last time it happened. And then it should have been the time before that. Just do it. I really wanted to get into what Mitch Dyer had written about working at IGN. With, by the way, the people who made him do what he did on some reporting for Naughty Dog about Amy Hennig and some of the stuff there. They don't work at IGN anymore. They're gone. Mm-hmm. But he was able to come forward and kind of say, look, they told me to make some of this stuff up. And it's horrible. This happened, 6 years ago, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
5 years ago? Mm-hmm. I can't remember. It's been a while. And it's just been out there for everybody to think that it went one way when it was completely different.
Mm-hmm.
Just really horrible. So I don't know who's on hold, but I don't have time to get to. I'm so sorry. We've got to go here. Thanks everybody for joining us in the chat room. Remember, there is no show next week. We will be back a week from next Saturday. Go to ingamechat.net. Join us on Twitter, Facebook, our YouTube channel. If you're on Steam, join our Steam group there. You can join up with us and play games with us and other listeners as well. We've got a Discord and everything else. We'll go to another game here that was on the list of horribly bad games, but according to everybody in the chat room, these aren't so bad. I will tell you, Hayes had some issues. Hayes had some really big issues. From what I remember, I just can't remember what they are. This one comes from Shaq Fu.
Which one?
The SNES game.
The original, okay.
Yeah, the original. Shaq Fu. I know I got an update.
Yeah, I got that one.
Yeah. Was that better?
Yeah. I had fun with it.
Okay. Well, this is the main theme from Shaq Fu. Superman 64 was the obvious choice, so I didn't go with that one. But But yeah, we'll see you next, a week from next Saturday. Have a good one.